Good morning, everybody. We got John from JY Barbell, and Tyler will not be joining us. So it's just the two of us, I think, for now. Might have a special guest. We'll see. Maybe also on kid duty. So for now, it's just me and John recapping Dubai. So last event just wrapped up. John, I know before we start, I think you had a little bit of a shout out for somebody.
Yeah. So I've got a couple girls wrapping up their cycle, and I'm just really proud of them. Melanie Hodge, I think she's in the comments here. She's 48 years old, 5'1", 125, little bitty girl, and she just PR'd her back squat and joined the 200-pound club. She got 210 today, so
Nice.
That's big news, right? 200-pound
awesome.
club for girls is amazing, especially for general population. Just be super proud of that. Also, Heather Moore is at my home gym, and she also joined the 200-pound club. She's, I think, 115, 112 or 115, little bitty girls. Okay, so if you're a little girl that is over the age of consent, I don't want that to sound terrible. Okay, most of my clientele are soccer moms, but I can make you strong. I'm proving it day in, day out. I'm proud of those. Proud of you, Melanie. Y'all are killing it. And now let's talk about Dubai.
Well, before we get to Dubai, one thing before that, Danielle Brandon lost her Instagram account sometime in the last 12 or so hours. Posted stories, something about with impersonation of her account or something like that. Got kicked off. I think she's in the process.
What did she post?
She had a story kind of outlining what was going on. We don't allow people on Instagram to pretend to be someone well-known or speak for them without permission.
Stop pretending to be yourself, Danielle.
And so ridiculous. She's trying to get verified, whatever. But last night, her account was disabled. It was Danielle Brandon 7. Now she's Danielle Brandon .7. Hopefully she gets it back, because I think she had well over 600,000 followers. Now she's at 600. So
yeah, that's devastating if you think about it. For her career, because how much money she makes, the sponsors she has, it's because of that following.
Yep.
If anybody knows anybody on Instagram land, I know that's probably a way wild call that won't happen. But on the outside shot, let's get this fixed, because this she hasn't done anything.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So go check her out. She's still posting stuff out there. Hopefully she gets her regular account back. But in the meantime, that's what it is. Melanie Hodge, thanks for the belief and encouragement, John. So congrats, Melanie, from Travis. Dubai started off with the long down and back chipper this morning, 22-minute time cap, 23, I think, for the women. And then we had the power cleans and farmer carry. And then we ended with some handstand walking. Thoughts on the first, on the last day, just in general, John?
Rough scoring. I liked the first event of the day. By the way, I want to give you and Tyler props. I said there was no way Roman was going to lose that chipper, and he did. Ricky and Lazar both beat him. So good call on you guys. Other than that, man, there was some rough scoring.
Dubai does what they want. I think is the best way of saying it.
And that's fine. It's fine to do what you want, but just think a little bit, man. It's not that hard to just think a little bit. And I know you got Brian Friend in your ear. He would tell you these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I guarantee he knows that what we know,
Right. It sounds like it, even the last event, he didn't even know what the scoring table was. They were keeping that from him. So I don't know how you do that.
And there's no point in that. Ask him. Ask him for help. That's all he wants to do is help everybody. You know what I mean?
It will help us understand who can come back, especially in this last event where people are falling down, lots of points on the line, potential for big movements, and we're just speculating on how many points Lazar's gonna lose and how many Ricky can gain.
I will say that was my biggest problem with the last day is just the order of event. You cannot make an execution event, and if we want to define that, we can, but you cannot make an execution event that is not about your fitness, but just if you can execute a skill. Obviously, some people are better than others, and that event should be in the competition. But it is a sin to make that the last event of the day with the cuts, meaning it's the most valuable event. If you are 3 spots behind somebody, so if we look at the order, say if Roman was 4th, or let's say if Lazar was 4th and Ricky was 1st, Lazar loses 15 points to him, 12 points to him.
Yeah.
Most events, it's 12 points. 12 points. And now he loses 40, which means that event is the most valuable event in the whole entire competition. The events are not weighed equally. You have to make that event a fitness event, meaning like the fittest people should win this event. Yeah. It's not execution based. Like if the first event of the day was this last event, that would make sense to me. You have to make it
like have the requisite skills too to be able to move on.
It's total CrossFit workout, CrossFit, all around fitness. There's strength gymnastics and conditioning to it. It's not the fittest person should win. It is not who's the best handstand walker, right? Yeah. Like you cannot make you just can't make it an execution event. Like it's terrible that was the last event.
And we were a few minutes away from Karin Freyova not winning,
which is ridiculous.
Not winning she would have not won because she would have gotten a DQ for not getting 50% of the workout completed because she couldn't do 60 meters of handstand walking unbroken.
And that's ridiculous.
And I guess we're speculating too because we don't even know, right? Like even Brian Friend on this broadcast was like, we think because that's what it's been every other event. But it's not been communicated that this would be the same on this final event.
Well, I mean, you put that event, like say where the front squat event was, I bet you half the freaking field doesn't finish that first handstand walk. And Karin Frey gets 50 points instead of 0. Like,
well, she didn't even get,
I know she came back. She came back, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a disaster. They're lucky it kind of paid out that way. Yeah, I feel bad for Lazar. I'm happy for Ricky. Ricky did great. He had like the best last day ever, right? And I called Ricky to get second. So it's not like Ricky shouldn't have gotten second. But Lazar had a better competition the whole entire way. Ricky made that mistake on the obstacle course. He deserves that point gap because he didn't perform well. And then you have this niche skill thing that Lazar can't do the day of. And now Lazar is going to get 3rd place when he's been convincingly 2nd place the whole entire time, right? He won the first event of the day, right? Lazar did. Ricky got 2nd.
Yes. Yep.
Right. And like that's how the last event should have been, and it wasn't. So and like again, I'm happy for Ricky. I believe Ricky got 2nd, but Lazar should have gotten 2nd. Like it's.
Yeah, I mean, Lazar had 2 or 3 first place finishes out of 8 workouts. Larry Young, well, at least Ricky Mack finished strong. I think he needs to start running again. It's not even that. Like it was He just means for the games, like because if he performs like this, and then he runs the way we know he can run, and like all running events, Ricky's going to be first through third. He's going to be dangerous come games time, which I agree with. He's a big Ricky fan. I mean, I think Ricky's on the right track. I mean, he doesn't have to win.
No, and I mean he wasn't going to beat Roman. He just wasn't.
I think Ricky, if anything, it's the strict handstand push-ups what else is there that, I mean, he's shored up a lot of his strength. I mean,
it's
really,
man.
and Roman's about there with him.
He's not, it's not like he's,
right.
Yeah.
It's really just avoiding any type of blow up. Like, I mean, I had my qualms about the obstacle course being an event in this type of thing with 8 scored events total. And we'll take a look at the leaderboard once the men's update, but I think Ricky was right there with Roman. If you
without the obstacle
course. So straight CrossFit.
If you want to give Ricky, so I think I don't mind the obstacle course, but like say you threw 800 meters before and after that, where it's something you might have liked more. Like then he would, instead of 80 points, it'd have been 50 points or 40 points, right? So like I think you can add 40 points to his score, and that's what it'd be more like with the games. Yeah, I do think that's what we are going to see at the games. I think it's going to be Roman, Ricky, and Jeff separated from everybody else. Yeah, and Velder will be right there with them until we, have to swim or do something. Velder will do something that gets him out, but he'll be with them until that event, and then those 3, like come last day, it will be like it's those 3, and then Velder will be 4th. Velder and Justin with his steady state, and Velder he's as good as those 3, but he's always going to have 1 or 2 that he just messes up. Right. So that's what I think we'll see at the games. I do. I think it's going to be Ricky, Roman, and Jeff.
One thing, if you caught the live stream yesterday, Elena Karatala-Sanahua was credited for the win of the rope climb thruster double under workout. The judges miscounted her number of rounds. And so
that's rough.
So Elena saw that, and last night went and told Kyra, "Look, I didn't win. I'm going to go tell the organizers that they miscounted." So,
good for you, Elena.
So Elena went to the organizers and told her, "Look, guys, you need to knock me down. I can't accept the event win and the $2,000 for the win." So Kyra actually got the event win on that workout.
Wow, good for her. Was Elena second then? Was her actual score second?
We'll have to see. I didn't have a chance to see.
Or was her actual score like
that was event 3 on the women's side? No, Elena
5th.
Yeah, down there in 5th. So I mean, look at the scoring though. I mean, everybody had same time cap.
I'm happy for Kyra. I'm happy that Elena did that for her. That's something that's rough though. That's something you see at like a local competition. So like this is funny. I have a funny story. I know we'll get off we'll get off of it quickly. But a couple of girls from my gym are doing this local competition. They're in the intermediate. They're they're doing competitions, right? And one of the girls is at a different gym, and their whole one of the events was 8 rounds of 8 minutes, as many rounds as you can, DT. Okay. Mm-hmm. With the lighter weight. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll play the role of the other girl, and then for the girl at my gym, and we'll see how many rounds we can get, right? Yeah. And we went unbroken the whole time. I did a round, she did a round. I did a round, she did a round. I did a round, she did a round. Never stopped once, unbroken the whole time. And we got like a little over 10. We were in the 11th round. And then when they did the competition, her partner, obviously, it's not moving the barbell like the speed that I'm moving it, but I just wanted to see what was possible in that event. And they broke twice, but for the most part, when I'm broken, but broke twice. And their score was like 13 rounds. And I was like, I just want to let you know, Jess, y'all did not do 13 rounds. And I was like, make sure that y'all would have still won, and then we won't say anything. But I want you to know that y'all did not do that many rounds.
The problem is you don't have a camera review on that either. So
no,
what are you gonna do? Like, hey, I know I didn't do 13, but I wasn't keeping track. I don't know. They must have had the same Dubai judges because they were struggling. I mean, in that one, they moved their jump rope up to a little tick mark every single time, but even the commentators couldn't even keep track of where everybody was. I know Lazar, when he was going through it, he was a tick mark behind and won that event. So he may have only done 9 rounds. Who knows? But yeah, it was definitely a mistake, and good on Elena, because she probably didn't have to say anything if she would have.
Yeah, I bet Karin didn't know. It wasn't
no,
like
I doubt anybody,
didn't hear people complaining,
Right. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the women's leaderboard. Pretty interesting here. Karin Freyova takes the event win, or competition win. Andrea Solberg in second. Claudia Gluck in third.
Andrea Solberg with like the last day of the century.
Yeah, what do you recall where she was at entering into the day?
I think she was like 8th going into. She was in the top 10, but going into the last day. But
yeah, she got a second, a first, and a first the last day. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Can we talk time caps real quick?
Yeah. Do they test these events? Do you know? This is a question we probably should ask Brian. Because
I know that who's the EMOM company guy? He was on one of the games teams, the Misfit teams, this past year. Maybe somebody in the comments knows, but I heard that he had been testing some of them.
Hunter?
No, it wasn't Hunter.
From Misfit? Hunter from Misfit? Luckett?
Yes, Brandon Luckett. That's it. Yep.
Oh, JR's got it.
Thanks. Yeah, and JR. Yeah, so Brandon Luckett, I think I had heard, was testing some of the workouts. I just
listen,
don't know
guys. Brandon Luckett was not testing some of the workouts that the time caps.
No, no, there's no way. I mean, nobody finishes event 7. That's the 21:15.9 power.
Brandon Luckett is barely better than I am. There ain't no way he was hitting these time caps that they've set before. I feel like they probably was like Brandon Luckett did these workouts and then just shot in the dark. Roman could probably do it in this.
Yeah.
But without like putting much thought into it. And then that's what they tried to do the time cap for. Yeah, the time caps were bad. They were bad. I mean, it's just needed to be adjusted by 2 minutes. It's just, I think less fit people were judging the time caps of really, really fit people and way overshooting.
Yeah.
Is what I think is happening.
I mean, because for those that don't know, event 7 was 21:15.9 of power cleans and an 80-meter farmer's carry with these jerry cans. And so they had to go down and back twice. And each time down was one rep. The problem was that you finished on an 80-meter farmer carry and nobody could finish. And so you had these people that were at the end of 20 meters and at the beginning of 20 meters, and they got the exact same score. And so you see on the women, 5 women tied for first. Another, 4 finished and tied for what you call second. A whole slew tied for third, and then a bunch of people who don't in their way in the back, not finishing their power cleans. And this is the event in between 2 cuts. So they cut down to 20 and they were cutting down to 10. And you really have no, unless you are at the very front, you have no chance of gaining ground on your competitors. So not good. And then you get to the final.
And it was very evident who was in front. Like, I don't know why you can't just write the names out. Right. And just be
who's
like
the furthest. Yeah.
Right. You literally could just eyeball it. You've cut it to 20 people. And you could just go back on the tape and then write names down and then just go by 5 points, 100 down to 5. Mm-hmm. And you just by the eyeball test. Like that's not hard to do. I don't understand why they can't just do that on the spot instead of making it like this.
Yeah.
You want to like, I mean, the event is worthless. If you're going to score it like this, why is it there? People aren't going to, it's stupid.
Right. Yep. And then
I want to address this really quick.
Yep.
Jonathan, he made the 2018 CrossFit Games, and my 30 ring muscle ups for time were faster than his. My CrossFit total is better than his by a lot. Marathon row, I'm just going to go ahead and call myself last place on that. And then what was the first event for that year?
2018. Wasn't that the 3 single modality ones?
Yeah. No, there was 4 events: the row, the total, 30 ring muscle ups. There was cycling. It was a crit. Yeah. He ain't beating me on a bike, man. I'm pretty good on a bike, and so I'm just thinking about the first day workouts. Probably he could beat me, but it's be different. The games is different. Okay, just trust me on that. It's not a qualifier, Travis. I'm not going to defend my fitness to y'all. Okay, the games is different. It's a showcase of athleticism.
J.R. Howell, question for you, John. What about the compounding grip fatigue effect of the ski, devil's press, the deck squat or the deck sit-ups, and then the bar muscle ups?
JR, I'd be more interested to see if that had an effect on the event after, because yes, that's very grippy, but I almost think you get a break on the A squats, the deck sit-ups. Those are the sit-ups, right? With the kettlebell.
Yeah, with the kettlebell. Yeah.
That's not super grippy because you kind of rest here, right? Or here, but you just got to hold on to the thing. I was surprised at how many breaks Lazard and Roman were taking on those, but that might have been because their grip was failing. But I almost think, and I don't know if the event people are smart enough to think about this, but if that primed their grip up just to make the power clean farmer walk one really, really, really bad.
No, I think, you know I think what JR is saying is that workout, the 22-minute chipper, was what prevented them from going maybe faster on that 5-minute power clean workout.
Maybe possibly, but then we could talk about the order. I told you this, Brian, before we went live. I like these events by themselves. I don't mind them at all. I really liked the interval front squat event. But then and JR brought this up in the chat, and I didn't even think about this. They did 100 thrusters, and then they did that interval front squat workout,
so
and
60,
then they did
60 front squats,
and then they did a really hard bike sprint elimination workout. That's too much legs, guys.
All 3 workouts,
way too much legs.
And that was all within 5 hours?
Yeah, I mean, you could put the power clean workout in place of where the front squats were, and put the front squats where the power clean one was. If you just brought the order different, that bike elimination workout should have been the last workout. And I think it would have been a really fun race in the end if there was a race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you could just go down to 10-7 or 10-6-4-2 in the last 2 guys.
Yeah.
I think it would have made, if you just changed the order, it's still way too much squatted.
Well, you could have even not even had an elimination style, but you could have made that a 3-rounder and had just a sprint race to the end.
Or collect your total times.
Yeah, something of that where it would be more like the acid bath. I think it was a lot tougher than what it looked like on TV or watching it on YouTube.
It's really hard to repeat sprints like that. It's really, really hard. And that's why you'd have guys that look good for 2 rounds, and then the 3rd round, they're not the same. And if you want to be honest, I know Ricky had a great day. Ricky got so lucky in that workout, in the bike elimination workout, because he was in the previous heat, and Roman and all the guys that made it to the next round got 3 minutes of rest, and Ricky got 8 minutes of rest. So that 3rd round where Ricky looked faster than everybody, it was just because he got more rest.
Yeah. Because Ricky was in the round of the 11 to 20, so the first heat of the round of 20, and everybody else was in the second heat, and so that turnaround time was way less for that. I saw that too. And then on the last workout,
and JR says it's good that they finished with pressing shoulder stamina. I still don't think it was enough pressing. What pressing was there? You count the handstand walk, free handstanding push-ups as pressing? and then the shoulder to overhead dumbbells. That's not. I mean, it's
well,
not.
I think
it's not.
They
enough.
needed it. I think it's. I agree with you though that the order probably could have been different, right? Like you could have put the pressing shoulder on day 2 or at the beginning or the first workout of the day, instead of having everybody at the very end stand there and look around at each other, especially on the women's side of can I finish 60 meters for a handstand walk?
Can you scan through all the workouts again real quick? Just the times here. I just want to look at the times because the last workout was 5 to 10 minutes. Event 7 was a 5-minute cap. The chipper was long. The elimination together is 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, we can go to the workouts here. So obstacle race, a 7-minute time cap. Weightlifting's weightlifting. 12-minute time cap on
that nobody could do.
The rope climbs, thrusters, and heavy double unders. Event 4 was the 4-round EMOM that at most was going to be 15 minutes, but 12 minutes of work when you take out the rest. Elimination style was 4 2-minute rounds. Then this morning, the OG chipper was 22 minutes. A 5-minute time cap on the power cleans. And then event 8
was 12 minutes.
Was 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So only one workout
outside of 5 to 10 minutes.
Pretty much
5 to 12 minutes. Every single workout was 5 to 12 minutes except one workout.
It reminds me a lot of last year's Madrid, right? And there are a lot of complaints about that. That was HWPO programmed that, but they were also limited by having it to be a community event. This, I think there was some community events going on elsewhere, but I mean, they could program anything they wanted for the elites, and everything was short. How much do you think that impacted the final results?
Can you say
that it was all shorter, sprinty type workouts for the most part? One longer style workout.
I mean, it helped people like Braun and it hurt people like Emily. I think we can kind of see that throughout.
Yeah.
You know, but overall, like, I don't know. I'm gonna say it helps Andrea Solberg because none of us had her up there. But I don't know. It just felt like something was off with the programming. Guys like JR and Taylor are better at sifting through the programming and telling us exactly what's wrong. You say this, JR, but every single one of those elements except ring muscle up has a form of squatting in it. Or handstand walk and dumbbells. There's no just shoulders are the reason that you don't get through this workout. Right? The burpee box jump overs were after the bike sprint. The thrusters, that's using your legs, they're kind of irrelevant because the legless rope climb and then the double under, it's just a part of a chipper. There's no my shoulders are the reason I couldn't get through this workout, except the handstand walk dumbbell event, which ring muscle ups and overhead squat are also.
The last 4 were all the last event.
And so I get what you're saying, and maybe you're right. It just doesn't feel that way to me. We're missing a handstand push-up workout somewhere in there.
Yeah. That's what I thought I was going to see at the very end. John's cousin or brother, was it your brother?
Yes.
Asian Sean brother. Young, $4.99. Thank you, John. Sean Young. To pitch in for John to get a full t-shirt.
Listen, it's kind of funny. If you really look at his face and then you look at Roman's face, I'm not trying to be racist, but it looks pretty similar.
So are you related to Roman then too?
Roman's my father. Don't you remember? You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, yeah.
Even though I think I'm older than him, I think we're the same age, and I'm half of 6 months older than him.
Yeah. JR Howell, last workout was just shoulders. Do you think there needs to be another?
I do, because it wasn't about your shoulders, your shoulder endurance. It was more about execution. It's a different stimulus. This was who could execute that handstand walk the best. This wasn't whose Again, you might be right on this, but we can agree to disagree on this. It was not shoulder endurance on this. This was execution based on that last event.
Yeah. Just send JR a link. We offered. I think he's on dad duty, so appreciate him being on the chat. He'll get John fired up. I know that JR did have some strong thoughts on this. My guess is there will be some type of shut up and scribble show to go over this, because I think there definitely is some takeaways and thoughts from how this is programmed.
This is why we need Chase on here.
Chase is also on dad duty.
No, so, I know. He needs it.
Everybody's dealing with kids except for us.
People and your children.
Going down the leaderboard, Elisa Fuliano, not the greatest day. I thought she was going to do better on these this afternoon. Emily Roll,
she was in the running to get first place. And then it was just execution error. I mean, you had 50. Yeah. You had how many points did she get in the last workout? Still 70.
70. Yeah.
Okay. So then it would only make up one spot then.
Yeah. The problem with the final workout is only 5 people didn't finish. They all were standing there on that last handstand walk portion. And that's where I have the issue with it. Right? Like, it was, if you're going to have a skill like that, you can't have a spot where there's a tie for that many athletes. There has to be some type of tie break, whether it's the first time you get through the handstand walk, get to the handstand walk on the backside, like something needs to separate it so you don't have 5 athletes all tied at the very end. So I don't know if, I think Saad programmed this all himself this year. I think Brandon Luckett may have had a little bit of a role, maybe in just the interval piece. I don't know, but you've got to do better on this. Like, you can't have one final event with 10 athletes and 5 of them all get the same amount of points. It's a waste.
Yeah, why go down to 10 athletes if the last 5 are all going to get 50 points?
Right. Yeah, it did not play out how they had hoped. Emily Rolfe, good last day with a 6th, 1st, and a 2nd place finish. She moved all the way up. She was
other than Solberg, probably the best last day. I gotta tell you, the curse of Tyler Watkins is strong. Poor Nortje. Nortje was killing it, and then Tyler picked her to get 3rd, and then she ended up 9th.
Yeah, she was up there. Ingrid Hodenmeyer, I think she might be going individual. I'm not sure what she's doing this year. Takes 10th. Devin Kim, 12th. Kyra Milligan, 13th. Jackie Dahlstrom, 14th. Lauren Fisher, 15th.
I really thought, I mean, I don't remember what other podcast it was, but somebody said Jacqueline Dahlstrom was going to be really good at this competition, and I believed her. And
that was death by.
And then Karin Freyova was so much better than her. It was like a 6-pointer. That's why I thought it was going to pay off for Jacqueline Dahlstrom. It was so convincing.
Chase would know.
Chase would. Yeah.
He got fired up. So
I believe Karin Freyova beat Jacqueline Dahlstrom by more points than she did in Madrid.
379 to
maybe
702.
Maybe
it might be exact.
The curse of Nikki is coming to fruition here.
Yeah, worse than Tyler.
Thank you, Hillary. It was escaping me. I appreciate that.
There we go. Nikki on death by. And Chase disagreed. I think Chase won this one.
8 points to Chase.
Yeah, 8 points to Chase, 7 to Hiller. Let's see, all the way down.
-1 to Lauren Khalil.
Dan, HWPO will fix Dahlstrom.
Just like they fixed Hopper.
I don't know. I don't see it, unfortunately. I don't have anything against
think Dahlstrom needs to be fixed, man. I think Dahlstrom is a very fit person, and I think she's going to be on the cut line of making the games in Europe. I think Like whether she makes it or not probably depends on the programming. That's just where her fitness ability is. I don't think she underperformed or overperformed. Madrid was very similar to this. I think she'll be, like 9th through 12th, 9th through 15th.
Yeah.
Come semifinals in Europe. I think that's just where her ability is. It's not. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I think that's just where her ability is. Steven, that is not a compliment. You need to come up with something better than that. I'm insulted that we're in the same sentence.
John is way better.
Don't put us in the same sentence. That just makes me feel bad.
Just like they fixed Hopper. We talk about this a lot, John. Is there anything you take away from this competition? If we fast forward 5 months, we're looking at semifinals. Is there anybody that you're going to look at and say, yeah, they move up on my board of predictions or move down based off of what you see here?
For the women?
For the women.
I mean,
are you going to say Claudia Gluck is going to make it into semifinals?
So, yeah. So like I've always been high on Karin Freyova, but like she has a problem. She is always good if it's not the games,
right?
And I mean, she did fine at the games this year. Don't get me wrong, but she always does great overseas, and then when she's in America, it just does not happen for her. But so I'm probably just going to stay tentatively the same on Karin Freyova. Claudia Gluck, I'm not going to put her or predict her anywhere, but if her name comes up, I'm going to be watching out for her name. You know what I mean? Like if she's in the running, I'll probably give her the nod over somebody else because of this performance. I'm not going to predict that she's going to do anything crazy, but it's kind of like planting a seed. You know what I mean? You plant enough seeds, it grows into a plant, right? So that analogy doesn't work. But
I think Claudia is almost somewhat like Karin Freyova, but just a step below that, right? Like I've seen Claudia do well in these European competitions, and then she gets to semifinals and throws up a goose egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that you got to see it on the big stage where it means everything.
Yeah.
So that's
for instance, if it comes down if it comes down between Claudia and Jacqueline Dahlstrom, I'm probably going to pick Claudia, right? Like that's what these competitions do for me. Or I will look up event specific stuff. Neither one of them murdered the handstand walk, right? If it's a handstand walking thing, I'm going to pick Andrea Solberg and Elise Fuliano. I know she kind of
well over Karin Freyova.
Right. So other than that, not really. Manon Anganese is always in the running. She's never great, but always in the running.
She's Manon always Anganese. Sneaky. Like she's a
sneakier person.
She's always. She never has that home run. She's never like all of a sudden she shows up and she's like a fourth. Or last year at Rogue, like 2 Rogues ago, where she qualified for the first time to Rogue. Like she ended up, I think, 11th or something like that. And at first she was way back in the back and she just worked her way up. She's never flashy, but she just somehow gets it done and gets in that kind of middle range, or in this case, 4th place on this type of
kind of like a poor woman's Gabby McGowa.
Yes. Yeah, maybe like a half tier below where Gabby is. But
I'd say a couple tiers. But like the way Gabby McGowa,
the way that they compete
is sneaky. Yes.
Yeah. We did talk about during the preview show the best athlete who has not made the games as an individual, Andrea Solberg.
This doesn't do much for me with her. I'm sorry. What's bad is she did so good. But that last event, she got 100 points on that. I just don't care for that last event. To me, like she's like, it's the same. She didn't prove anything great. Like if it's a gymnastics event, she's going to be really, really good. The power output event, her Burpee box, she won that on her Burpee box jump overs. It wasn't the bike that she won that on. Or I don't know. I don't think she won, but what she did well on. So like for her, she's a big case of like it just kind of comes down to the programming. If she gets if it bodes well for her, she's going to do really good. If it bodes bad for her, she's not going to do very good. It's just
Is there anybody that you are disappointed in how they finished and think they need to reconsider what they do for next year?
What they do for a living?
Well, not for a living, but like
I was like gosh, Brian. No, I mean, no. I mean, some people did better than they normally do. Some people did worse than they normally do. Like Kyra Milligan and Lauren Fisher, it's kind of like, okay. Devin Kim, okay. Like I don't think any less of them. I don't think any more of them. That's just where they ended up at this competition. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I thought Julia Cato would be better than this, but again, it's not. I don't think any less of these people. This is just where they were on this competition. Nobody like really underperformed. For instance, we look at the men and we look at Chandler. Chandler didn't do great in this competition. I don't think any less of him. Like, if we start predicting Rogue, I'm going to pick Chandler to be top 5. We start picking games, I think Chandler's like 10th through 15th. It's the same as I thought before, right? So,
anything on the women before we move on to the men?
Not unless you have anything.
Dan, Lauren Fisher, disappointing considering her Rogue performance?
It's just different programming, man. Like Rogue programming bodes better for her than Dubai programming. It just is what it is. Chandler's the exact same way. I know they're different athletes, but it's the same thing.
I guess my question earlier where you thought it was maybe a little bit harsh, Travis asking like all the Invictus teams. So like Devin Kim, Brittany Weiss, if they go individual, like where would you say, like if you were a games team athlete and you had a very good chance of going back to the games as a team athlete or going individual and you may not make it and you get to the semifinals and your season's over, which direction would you go?
I mean, that's hard. I know Brittany wants to go individual. Right. So on Jorge was on their team too, correct? He's and going individual.
Yep.
Is Alchama going individual?
I thought he was, but I've also heard rumors that he's not. So I don't know what direction
he's
going.
I'm saying if these people want to go individual, they have an uphill climb. Like as of right now, I don't think Brittany Weiss or Devin Kim is going to make into the games. As of right now. That does not mean they can't improve. That does not mean they can't get lucky come semifinals programming.
Or does going individual and not making it in 24 give them a
fire for 2025?
Yeah, like they learn the individual side for 25 and then they can have a better chance of getting there. Or
it's all about how you look at it, man. You can look at things pessimistically or optimistically. If 2024 you don't make it and you're like, let's say Brittany Weiss tries semifinals and she gets 21st. Right. And if that lights a fire for her, absolutely, she could improve enough to get to the games in 2025. But you could also look at it the other way. Gosh, I went individual. I thought I was all this. I thought I was hot stuff, and I'm not like close.
Yeah.
Then you could just get discouraged and go team. As of right now, their skill level is good enough to be a games team. None of them are really good enough to be games individual competitors.
So do you agree
including
Jorge?
Including Jorge. But I do think that they can improve. I think Jorge's the only one who's got a shot in 2024.
So if you were them, you'd stay on a team?
Depends what you want. I don't know what they want.
I know what they don't want. I'm saying, what about you? If you were in the same situation, if you go to the games on a team or semifinals as an individual.
Okay, so if I wanted to go individual, but I know that I'm a team games athlete, I think I train as an individual and still do team. But like, I don't take team seriously. For instance, if you do, because you can do, I guess you can't do both, can you?
No. You could be an alternate, but that would be kind of shady if you just did that and then jumped in at the last minute.
Right. Then I think you just go individual. You just let the cards ride. You want to go individual? You've done team. You've been there. You've done it.
You've won
right?
It. If you're Brittany or Devin.
Like, right, if you've won the games, why would you do team again? You've experienced everything that you're going to experience on the team side. If you don't make individual, you're not good enough. Take 3 years. If you take 3 years to go all in, try to be individual, and you don't make it any of those 3 years, you didn't even get closer. You're just 15th, the best you got. 15th in semifinals is the best you ever done 3 years individual. Then go back to being team. You know what I mean? But if you've won the games as a team, you have done everything you could do on the team side, right?
Yeah.
Why would you continue to go team? But you got to be real with yourself. There's a good chance you're not going to make it because right now you're not good enough. But you absolutely can train to be good enough. All these people that are going to deload after the games for 2 months, that's 2 months of training that you get to gain on people.
Yeah. And Travis has a good point. I mean, there's a chance that they don't even make semis, like 40 spots.
If they don't make semis, though, then they can do team at the same time. You could do team quarterfinals and Indian quarterfinals. Like you could. If I were them, that's what I would do because you could do both the quarterfinals, and then if you don't make, like for instance, like Jorge makes it and Devin doesn't make it and Brittany makes it, just random. Yeah. That's what happens. Then Brittany can have all of her alternates, like Alchama and Brittany, and then 2 alternates, whatever, and she could still go team and still go to the games. The other 2, they're going to semifinals. They made semifinals. This is their season. That's what I would do. I would do team and Indy. If you don't, I'm assuming they all make semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
But if you make semifinals, you're going individual. If you don't make semifinals, you're going to go team.
Yeah. Is Rich the only athlete to win games on a team and Indy? Yes.
Well, I mean, Khalipa would have been in 2015
until Miranda.
Yeah, I mean that Khalipa's team in 2015 was hands down the best team, way better than Rich's team, was killing everybody. And then Miranda tore her ACL, and Dave wouldn't let them finish the competition. Yep. So, like, if you want to put that in Rich's cap, you go you. Khalipa would have won the team in 2015.
There's the mayhem hate. There it is.
It's not mayhem hate. It's the truth. People want to cover up the truth, okay? It's fine. As of right now, I think so, right? I think Rich is the only one.
Ortega, that's another topic for another show, but new faces. A third almost always make it to the games. I think it'll be about the same, but we'll definitely be covering that in the coming months. Sabir and Kelly, how much money did first place win? $50,000. So Roman and Karin Freyova both take $50,000 home. Men, let's take a look at that. Roman Khrennikov, Ricky Garrard.
Wow, somebody told me that it was impossible for him to podium after day one. Who was that?
Might have been me.
Yes, so. Right. You can't
Ricky,
freak out too much after day one. You can't do it.
So Ricky lost to Roman by, what is that? 89
points. 89. Yeah, 89 points.
89 points. He was shy. He lost 84 points to Roman on the first workout. It would have a 5-point difference had the obstacle course not been there. We talked about it yesterday. Do you still agree that you're okay with the obstacle course being in there for 8 events? Like
I am. I know you're not, but I think it's fine. It's unfortunate.
I think it needed to include. I think it needed to include more than just the obstacle piece. Like it needed to include a run, like run through the streets, do a mile, do the obstacle course, do a mile or 800 meters, do something.
I do think that would have been a better. That would have been a better event, 100%.
And Ricky may not have. He probably wouldn't have gotten first or second, right? But he probably wouldn't have gotten 25th.
He'd be middle of the pack.
He would have also not been in the second heat all day Saturday. He probably would have been in the final heat, which might have helped him a little bit. But just not a big fan of that. Whoops. Looking at the final day, Ricky goes second, first. Roman fourth, second.
Jeez, Ricky, I didn't know I didn't know he had that good of a day.
Oh yeah, he almost perfect. He was 13 seconds shy
yeah,
of Lazar, who destroyed that down and back chipper. I think Ricky almost caught him. I mean, Ricky was moving on that the ski erg, which if you did pay attention, that final workout or the third workout, or sorry, the first workout of day 3, it did say 800-meter run when we were talking about it yesterday. Even the graphic said it, and then they switched to back to the 50-calorie ski last minute. The broadcast said that there were some technical difficulties with the runners, so I'm not sure what that means, but they switched out to the ski erg. I don't know if that made any difference. I don't think it would have on this one, but Lazar, first, fourth, and eighth, drops down to third place. Fabian Benito, definitely not the Sunday he needed. Took a 20th, 5th, and a 6th, drops out of the podium spot. Aniel Akai rounds up the top 5. Alex Katulis in 6th. The top 6 are the only ones that make above the minimum $500 payday. So Bronislaw takes 7th. That's probably his best finish in any type of big event, right?
I think he might have been like second in strength and depth one year. But like I get an event of this caliber, yeah, I think so.
What is this?
What?
Commenting on me.
No, somebody asked about my wife. I was just
gotcha.
commenting in the comments. Sorry.
Yep. I was like, wait a minute, somebody's in my account. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Am I not allowed
I was like,
to do
what's
that?
going on here? Yeah, good. Your wife's all doing much better.
Yes, sir. Yep, she's
awesome.
Good to go.
Working down the leaderboard. Chandler Smith 15th. That's just the programming going back to back weekends.
Yeah, I think the back to back weekends, like you've said all weekend, hurt Chandler. And I mean, he didn't look very good this whole entire weekend. Like there wasn't any. Usually he has like some splash moments where he's like up and he just like gets top 3 in a random event you would have never thought of, and that just did not happen this weekend. Yeah, I don't like Chandler. This doesn't make me think any less of him. Doesn't make me think any more of him. You know what I mean? Just like Rogue, I expect Chandler to be good at Rogue. That doesn't change my game's thoughts of him. Just like Vellner won Rogue, and I think he's going to get 4th at the games. Like it's just this is how Dubai's programming is. This is where Chandler is in Dubai. I think he's probably a little bit better than this, but the back-to-back weekends probably hurt some. Yeah.
Yep. David Sharunki, Jorge Fernandez in 17th and 16th. CrossFit Thor, Griffin Raleigh, 18th.
I'll tell you what, Martin Cuervo, his name kind of came up a lot. And we don't really talk about this guy. We don't really know him very much, but he's shown to have some power output. Not necessarily coming through on events, but he was winning every single interval until the 3rd interval. So I think he might be somebody to watch for, kind of like in a Moritz Fiebig mold, like in a power output, sprinty workout, maybe like in the future.
Yeah, I remember seeing him at the 2022 Madrid Championship. I think he took 5th. I think I may have had him maybe take the last spot in my predictions for Europe's semifinal last year. But the problem is, like you said, he has that power output, but not enough well-rounded to do well when you get to a semifinal event. And so this programming that you see today, for this weekend, we had one long event. A lot of power output. So I'm not going to read too much into it, but if you do see him in a semifinal, again, like any of those short type workouts, power based, he could make some damage on that. But longer events, you're probably going to see him slide down the leaderboard like you did when there was one here.
Bronislaw won strength and depth. So that's probably been his best competition. But as far as big competition, yeah, I think this is his best. Do you know how much 7th place gets paid?
$500.
Oh, wow. So, no, I think he made more in strength and depth.
Yeah. They only the top 6 got more than the minimum. So 7th to 30th got 500. So, yeah.
Is Dubai hurting for money?
When they came back, was it last year they came back for the first time? They dropped everything down, and I mean, you saw the stands. There was 0 people there, so they're definitely not getting the ticket sales. Maybe they just don't feel like dumping as much money in as they had been in the past.
You think if they just didn't live stream anything at all, their ticket sales would go through the roof?
100%. Place would be packed. Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, there were 5,000 people watching on the live stream. I'm sure all 5,000 would have been in the stadium watching. So that's what I would do. Anil Akai, best finisher, not at the games yet as an individual. He was impressive, I thought.
Yeah, he made a big push in the last day too.
Yeah, him and Alex Katulis, both smaller guys, hung in there on these types of power strength-based workouts, which sets them up, I think, better for the coming season. Anybody that same question, anybody that surprised you?
Well, I'm convinced that Kotler knew the time domains, because I just can't get out like how. I don't want to say lucky, because Bronislaw, the first event today with the ski and then the A jumps and then the deck squats and then the all that Dubai stuff. That chipper, I thought Bronislaw paced so well. I was so shocked at how good he was doing on that. But Bronislaw, kind of his name sticks out as like, I did not expect him to do good in the start of the week, and he did fantastic. So, but again, it's just kind of funny that he did so good, and then there wasn't really very many endurance events at all.
Right.
So I'm happy for Braun. It was just kind of lined up pretty perfectly for him.
I mean, before this whole thing started, and you would have told me that Bronislaw would take 6th on the first event, and Ricky would take whatever he did 25th.
Was it a max out? Yeah.
Right.
No, and I mean, like, as far as like other names go, like, there's nobody that sticks out a ton. Like, Chandler did pretty poor. I thought Luca would do better. Luca was doing great until like the last day, and then he kind of faded off. Ricky, Ricky did what I expected he would do, but the last day today just makes you think of the games. You're like, man, like you said, without the obstacle course, he'd have been right there with Roman. Roman feels like a tier above, but Ricky feels like he could give it right back to him, like today's last day. And like, that was the biggest thing I took away, is that, gosh, Ricky looks good. So like, then that makes me excited for the games. I do think Lazar should have won second. Lazar performed exactly what I thought Lazar would do. He's a top 10 games athlete. That's what I expect of him. Roman felt like a tier above. Other than that, nobody, like, there are people who overperformed and there are people who underperformed, but nobody stuck out like a lot. For instance, like Claudia Gluck, didn't expect that at all. And like, there's not really any names that, like, Anil Akai and Alex Katulis did really, really good, but it's not like nowhere in this competition were they just crushing people. This is just where they ended up. So like, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Fabian Benito, he was the last one in Europe at the semifinal. I could see him being the last one in at the next year's semifinal. And Anil is right outside that. So I don't see.
I think
I
all
don't
of
see
these
any of
guys.
these like between Aniol, Catullus, Bronislaw, Moritz. Like all 5 of those guys are going to be right there in that just above or just below the cut line, most likely
in the fight for it.
Right.
I think Moritz underperformed a little bit. I think he's better than that placement. But I'm still there with you. You know.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I like all these like. It's kind of like the Jacqueline Dahlstrom thing. Like, I don't think anything more or less of these guys. David Sharonke, this is where I would expect him to be at all times, except for the freaking games last year. I didn't. Nobody expected him to do what he did in semifinals, and he freaking did it. Like, it's props to him. But this is where he like always is in these competitions. Like, just middle of the pack. There's events he can crush. There's events he gets crushed. Middle of the pack guy, and then semifinals he was just like out of this world. Nobody was calling what he did at semifinals, so like I don't think anything less of him either. You know, right. And then nobody really. Does anybody stick out to you?
I mean, Aniol is definitely the one I would keep an eye on, but like I said, I don't think it. I don't see this and go, yeah, he's now going to make it to the games next year. Like I think he's still right there.
It'll depend on the could not.
It'll depend on the programming for him, most likely. I was hoping to see Jorge do better. I think he needs to do better if he has any chance of qualifying, especially coming out of the East next year. But no, I mean, look at it. I think Guillaume Briand made it in the games in 22, missed this past year. Something like this is not going to be. He's not going to make it again, right? Unless something comes up or something changes.
Not trending in the right direction.
Yep. And you see Kaique and Callian Souza, both those guys.
I hate that they're together.
Why is that?
Why? Like, have some type of separation, guys. Like
same athlete.
Yeah, I mean, they're both from Brazil, and then just right there together. The one workout that they were kind of like sticking out from everybody, it was both of them. Like, you know what I mean? It just feels like, I don't know. I want them to be different. Right now, you're like the 2 South Americans.
Right.
That's it. Like, I want some differentiation.
And depending on what Guy does next year, that's those 2 guys most likely go straight back to the games,
unless Raquel might have something to say about that. But
I don't know. Those guys, I didn't see much from Raquel. We've not seen him this offseason.
I get you, but I just think he's going to be in there too. Don't maybe, think you're wrong. Maybe I don't think you're wrong. I'm just saying he might be in the running too.
Yeah. Who was the closest to their predictions before the start of the comp?
Who you think? All right, my podium is 3 for 3.
Yeah, I had Ricky and Roman switched. So
and girls podium, me and Brian called Karin Freyova, right?
Yep. Emma Tall was out, injured. Taylor Howe was out, injured.
I had Mania Anganese 4th. And I think I had Elisa Pugliano 5th. I think
I had Pugliano 4th. Emily Rolfe missed.
And we all said Emily Rolfe, yeah. And she was 7th. I think
Tyler had Dahlstrom in there in the top 5, so he loses out.
Yeah. Him and Halpin been talking.
And Nikki.
Boy, that's a mix, isn't it? Halpin, Nikki, and Tyler walking to the bar.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. The programming makes predictions very hard. We didn't know a whole lot. Even when we knew the workouts, we still didn't know the weights. We didn't know how it was going to work out, how it was going to play out. So I would never have guessed there was not a long run at Dubai or some type of long event. So definitely changed it up a little bit, which from that standpoint, it was exciting. I just don't think the programming was the best. And hopefully I would expect get with the programming and Shut Up and Scribble will have something about that in the next week or two. Not sure, but that's my guess. Anything before we jump off, John?
I think as far as like names go, I think Claudia Gluck was the biggest winner in Dubai as far as whose name stuck out that you didn't expect to stick out. For me anyway, Claudia Gluck is the biggest winner in Dubai. Without that execution event, she would have been without the last event being how it was and Andrea Solberg winning it, right? Like she would have been second place.
And Claudia was beating her until the very end where she failed.
Beat her the whole time. No. And I mean, it's like the programming. Andrea Solberg got second because of how the programming was, not necessarily because she's fitter than Claudia Gluck.
Yeah.
No offense, Andrea. You did it. You deserve second.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pick you to beat Claudia Gluck in straight up fitness. I'm just not. So that's my biggest winner. Biggest loser is probably Chandler or Emma Tall. You know what I mean? If you want to pick somebody like that
from an injured, yeah.
What about that's it.
No, I completely agree. Claudia Gluck's now on the radar for games potential qualifier, make it for the first time. So, all right, John, good weekend.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.